Okay, so here's where we put the computer for now, kind of there at the end of the workbench. That'll be kind of be the dispatcher stand, I guess you could call it that. Don't know if I'll leave it there, but it's not bad. It's also kind of handy to have it, you know, for access to the internet, for doing research and stuff, kind of there at the end of the workbench. So that's where the computer is. VB6, Visual Basic 6, is installed. I got that installed a little while ago, and then let me pop around the back and just show you where I'm planning to mount everything. Alright, so I think I'm going to do from the back of the computer, here is the serial cable. I just made that up. Bought a shell. That's a DB9 shell there. Kit, bought that from Show Me Cables, and yes, they're in Missouri. And then I have a 3-conductor cable, 22 gauge cable that I use. So I made that connector up. Pretty much just followed the, well, there's no instructions, but there's another video on the internet you can find that how to make it, how to put the stream relief in, and I added a little bit of you can see there at the end, a little bit of extra electrical tape just because the cable. Alright, sorry about the darn phone rang right when I'm doing a video, the phone rings. So I made the cable up. I added a little bit of electrical tape there at the end because the cable was a little bit small. It didn't come with any grommets or any strain reliefs for going through that hole there at the end. It does have a strain relief inside it. So it went together fine. I'm sure you can figure that out. In the other end, of course, I had to use one of the connectors that where is it there? Oh, I can't seem to find it. There it is. It's not going to focus on it, but that's a 3-pin or 3-connector Waldom. Let me see if I can get that a little bit better. I'll maybe show it back at the workbench, but that's just following the instructions that were right in the manual. That's not going to focus. Sorry about that. That's a little bit better there, but that's crimped with some heat shrink tubing. So this is going to go into the other end. That will go into this end here. And then this is just not wanting to focus tonight. So that'll go there, and then the other end, which is a 5-pin, 5 terminal, I'm not sure what you call it, Waldom connector. That'll go out to the first SMINI. So what I'm thinking of doing is mounting this board right in here, and then running from the computer up to that on the one side, and the other side running out to the first SMINI, which I'm thinking I'm probably going to put that somewhere. Probably somewhere up in here, mount that, because that's where I have all the block detectors coming in. So I'll probably mount that there, because that's where all the DCCODs are going to be, at least for for this part of the peninsula. So probably go ahead and do that. So I need to get my power wiring. Here's my 5 volts, 12 volts ground. Probably put it to a terminal board in here, and then run over to the board because it needs 5 volts. And then also have available if I need any lights or anything else in here. So gonna keep working on that, but that's where that's gonna go, and just showing some progress here with the cables made, and hoping to get the CMRI stuff moving here relatively quickly. Alright, a little bit dark here, but I did get the RS485 card mounted. The cable there on the left comes in from the computer, and the plus 5 volts come in from the top, and on the right then it's going to run over to the first SMINI. So that's mounted there in relative close proximity, like I said, to the computer, which is here. So that card's now mounted in there, and then the cable's going to run around there, roughly around the curve underneath Lake City, and I'm going to put the first SMINI out there in a peninsula. And I have that cable made. I actually made it tonight with some 4-conductor AWG22. Here's the cable. It's all coiled up there. I measured it out. What I wanted to do just for myself is I put a little bit of heat shrink tubing there on the ends just to give it some support. And I also kind of labeled where they're going, just so I don't get confused, because I confuse easily. And I also did mark where the shield wire is on those two, and it's just wired up per the information here. This is the situation I have. This is shown on page 4-32. So this over here comes basically from the computer. That's what I made up with the new DB9 shell, using those pins into the RS232 card with one of the three terminal housing Waldom connectors. And then I made the first cable that goes from the other side of the RS485 converter card out to the first SMINI. So that's all done, and now what I'm getting ready to do, there's the RS, or the test 32 card. I did verify that works, again per the instructions. And now what I'm getting ready to do is I'm actually going to test an SMINI. I did hook it up and verify the green blink for idle, which is 1.8 seconds on, 0.2 seconds off. So I verified that. So now what I'm going to do is connect the cable from the 45 converter card to the SMINI, and then follow the instructions to do the testing, to do the output test, the standalone output test, and then eventually I have to make a wraparound cable, and I'll do the input test. So that's coming up next. So I just wanted to show a little bit of progress there. Again, this looks like kind of a mess here, but it will fit. So I'm going to get that hooked up and see how my first SMINI testing goes. Alright, so what we're doing here is we're going to test one of our SMINIs. I have the cable that I made up from the RS485 to the input, say, which will be the first node. This one will go to the next SMINI, and we're going to have 3 others after this, so I have to make up more cables. I already tested this node per the instructions, so I'll just kind of show quickly how this one works. One note, it kind of scared me a little bit. When you put this on, it's really hard getting these on. I really had to muscle it, and I was afraid I was going to break it, but I guess that's normal. Again, it's the first time I've done it, so but it's a little unnerving when you're taking a nice expensive board and pushing around like that. But I got it to work. So following the instructions, the first thing I'm going to do, so I have the voltage coming in, the plus 5 volts coming in. I'm going to just attach the 5 volts to the SMINI. That just kind of lights up. Now that flashes, you see how it's on a little bit longer than it's off. That's kind of the initial, I think they call it mode 0 or something like that. And that's correct. The timing on that should be like, I think 1.8 seconds on and 0.2 off. That's right. So then what I'm going to do is, I don't know if this will show up on the screen, Steve-O, but I'm going to actually start this this program. It says, are you testing an SMINI node? Yes. I'm on COM1, 9600 baud, so hit OK. Do I want to change anything? No. Alright, so I'll select my test from here, and I'm doing the output test. Alright, so now to initialize it, now you should check, the LED should now be on for a second, off for a second. And it is. It definitely changed the timing on it, you can tell. So that means it's now initialized. And this bad boy here is doing its thing, running its real-time loop. So now what I'm going to do, once I click OK on this, it's going to run something that's going to do a chase pattern on these output LEDs. So I don't know how well that shows up, but you can see the LEDs are going sequentially down, and that's what it's supposed to do. And you can see the yellow light came on here. I don't know if you can see back there on the 485 card, that yellow light came on, so it's doing its thing there, and this will just keep repeating. It's testing all the output, but I only have one card, so we tested this one, now we're testing this one. So that looks okay. So I actually got Visual Basic to work. It looks like the computer is communicating appropriately through the RS485 to the SMINI. We verified on our first SMINI that the output cards are okay, so we'll do that on the other 3 SMINIs. And then I got to make a 24 cable wraparound excuse me, to test the inputs. This is the input card here, so I got to make that up. That's gonna take a while. That's making 48 crimps and all that kind of good stuff. So, but I will do that to verify it and do the wraparound test, and maybe we'll show that. So, just want to show the progress that we're moving along here. I'm going to go ahead and stop this Visual Basic program. You can see the lights went off, and now it kind of goes back to its standby mode there. So so far, encouraging. At least looks like I got the computer working right. I got the right COM port, and Visual Basic seems to be running right. This was a program that was supplied with the CD you get with the package of books, the handbook and whatnot. So it seems to work pretty good. So more to follow. Maybe if I get around to it. I don't know if this weekend's supposed to be nice, so I don't know if I'll be working in the basement. But the next thing we'll show the wraparound test to verify the inputs are okay. So more to come. All right, so we got the wraparound cables done. I'm just going to show. I just did the wraparound test. I guess I did it right. It doesn't seem to look exactly like it is here in the book, but I think it's doing the right thing. This is going through, you know, every port, and then it's going through. This stops at 16, but I'll just show you what it does here. So, pull the program up, and I go run and start, and I did SMINI, yes. And that's right, it's COM1 9600 baud. We're not going to change the default settings. Then I select the wraparound test. And here it says clicking no prints only error lines, desire to print every line. I said yes. And then it checks for the noted, it's checking for that LED to be 1 second on, 1 second off, which it is. And these are just left on, I think, from the last test that I ran. So then I'll click on OK. And you can see the lights, and then you can look at the screen there. You can see it's port A, and it's going to go up to about 256, I think. Then it goes to port B, and then those lights are flashing there, and looks like it's running through everything. Then it's going to flip to port C, and it's testing that. You can see the red and yellow lights are on, and there in the back, if you can see, the 45 lights are on. So it looks like it's doing what it's supposed to be doing here. So I guess that's it. I just don't have this looking exactly like. I thought I was going to print out every single line down the screen, but it seems to be overwriting it, which is maybe the way it's supposed to be. Again, I'm not sure, but I'm not getting any error messages, so I have to assume it's working okay. And I've done this on another one as well, and it seems to do the exact same thing. So so that's that. So again, this is just testing the SMINI card with the wraparound output test, and we did the standalone test, which we showed previous to this. So it looks like the computer is working, Visual Basic's working. Like the SMINIs I have are working, although they showed I bought them from Slick Electronics, and they seem to do pretty good work. So, but this is more for me to learn the program and kind of verify certain things here. So, all right, one more real quick thing. We're just going to show you how we're going to lay this all out, and then get it up on as an update. All right, here's what I think we're going to do to mount the 4 SMINIs. I got some of the scrap plywood I had, roughly 2 foot square here or so. Put the SMINI here, and I have standoffs to put it on. This will be for the outputs, the 24 outputs on this side. I'll have to make up cables and run them to here, and then bring all the output wires here, and the same down here. On this side for the inputs, I'm probably going to put a 12 block here, but what I think I'm going to do is, since I know I'm going to use one of the DCCODs for the detectors, and I'll be mounted like this, I'm probably just going to run the V out, which is the input to the SMINI. I'm just going to run that around and directly down to here, not go from here to another terminal board. I think I'm going to do it that way, just to save some time, because that should not change too much. And then the track outputs will go to this, and then these will go out to all the blocks. I'll take the ground from here, probably run up to here to a ground on this block, and then bring 5 volts in and run it down to the SMINI, and 12 volts over to the DCCOD. So that's what we're planning to do for that. I'm mounted on standoffs here and everything, and then this way I'm probably going to mount it up like that so we can see the LED lights on the DCCOD. So that's the plan for right now. So, alright, so with that, I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up for now. I need to get, I have all the plywood cut, but I need to figure out, get it all mounted and start getting everything wired up here. And then make some of the other cables to go from jump from this SMINI to the next one, so go from this node to the next node. So there's still quite a bit of work to do. And then making up all these cables will be a joy. I did order from Mouser. I have a bunch of 8 of the 8-pin terminals that I purchased before. But what I decided to do is, since I'm probably not going to get this for a while, because I'm going to be out of town all next week for my last Air Force, Air National Guard weekend, I ordered some 12s. So that'll just be a little bit less to have to do. So I'll get 2 12s here, run here, and etc. etc. So those are coming from Mouser, so they'll come in so I can start working that when I get back from my my last military duty. Like I said, I got to make more jumper cables and get all the boards wired up and get them installed, and then go from there. So again, I still got to work on the programming. Still quite a bit of customization to do, but we're forging ahead. So like I said, during the summertime, things tend to slow down for us, just because with the nicer weather, we're outside a lot more. But we're going to try to get. I want to try to get all this stuff done before too long, so we can start testing it and actually maybe work on the program and whatnot on rainy days and everything. So more to come. Thanks for watching. Do appreciate it.